Welcome back guys to a new Cyberpunk video. The new massive update 2.11 is finally out with up to 40GB for the base game and another 20GB if you own Phantom Liberty. It was quite a massive thing. In this video I want to go through the 16 most important changes in 2.11, including something that wasn't even listed on the patch notes. The patch notes will also be linked in the description so you can check and read the full patch notes if you want to. The first big category we have to talk about will be existing bugs and glitches. One of the biggest upsets of patch 2.1 from the December update was of course that all the melee finishers stopped working for apparently no reason. In this update now they have definitely fixed it, which was also very much anticipated that they will do it, and I can definitely confirm yes, they will be working again. So to all fans of blood and gore, welcome back to Night City. Even more important for a lot of people is of course the ongoing struggle with their cyberware capacity. I have just recently made a video how you can actually fix your cyberware capacity and that it is actually not your fault that you are missing out on cyberware capacity. The capacity shards were intentionally limited by CDPR, and if you just miss to collect one of them, they will never drop again, which is quite a very stupid system. So you could easily miss a ton of shards and being stuck at low level of capacity. Update 2.11 now introduces a hard cap of 450 capacity. This capacity limit can be further increased with the Edgerunners perk, giving you a total max cap of 500, which is a real hard cap now. If you collect any further shard, your capacity will not go beyond 500. It is impossible to increase it beyond 500 now. Even if you equip the Chrome processor, if you're already at 500, the Chrome processor will literally have no effect anymore. Of course it will add capacity if you are below 500, but only until you reach the hard cap. And I think that is a really good step in the right direction, but there is a big issue with it, because you are not able to reach this limit. Your shards are still limited and none of my save files actually gave me any new shards. It is really good to see some progress on this issue, but as long as we are not able to reach this final capacity limit with every save file, with every player, this is not fixed and not helping anyone to get legitimately to the maximum amount of capacity. I also tried the airdrops again, and even the airdrops are still giving me only carry capacity but not cyberware capacity. With the current amount of shards, the legitimate maximum capacity is still 424, and only if you use the Chrome processor. So it is more important than ever that CDPR is also fixing the capacity shards, because the floating back glitch, which was widely used to duplicate more capacity shards, money shards, skill shards and any sort of items, has also been fixed. Even when you load a save file with a floating back that actually worked before the patch, it is now immediately disappearing on your first collection with no way to duplicate its contents. So everybody who didn't duplicate their shards is still stuck at 300 or 320 capacity. The simple solution for everything would now be to just give us infinite capacity shards in the next update. And I really hope this won't take another 8 months. And I think there's a strong indicator that this will actually happen, because they have also limited the skill shards to stop dropping when you finally reach the maximum amount of your skills. So the only thing CDPR has to do now is give us more capacity shards until we finally reach 500 capacity. After that, I would have no problems if they stop dropping similarly to the skill shards. Sadly, they also removed the faceplate glitch, which was an item you could get during Phantom Liberty. This item no longer has its quest marker, which means it is no longer possible to duplicate it and to sell it for infinite amounts of money. But surprisingly, CDPR even gave us a new cool feature, which are different car colors. It actually took me a while to figure it out, because you can only change the color of your cars if you're sitting inside of them. There's a new paint spraying item in the bottom left corner when you're sitting in your car. I didn't have the time to check it on PC, but on consoles you simply have to press the left button on your D-pad. However, this feature is currently only available on the two Rayfield cars, so you can only do it on the Rayfield Genevere and on the Rayfield Caliburn. The car is actually not really painted, but it creates an illusion of paint around it. That also means when you hit obstacles you can see the crystal coat effect on your car, and if you damage it too much it will actually completely stop working and remove all the colors. There were also a ton of very positive cyberware fixes which were not properly working. One of the most annoying ones for me was actually the health item unequipped, because this was always triggering when I used the medikit. And whenever I used the medikit, it not only removed my health items, it also removed my blood pump. And then I went to combat and I got killed instantly because my blood pump was no longer working, it was no longer present. So it was very annoying to go to Ripperdoc just to equip your blood pump again. So I'm really glad that this issue has now been fixed. Contagion is now properly causing an explosion when you use overheat on top of it. I have never been a big friend of Contagion because it just takes too much time to kill someone, and I have to use Synapse Burnout anyway to keep up my overclock, but this is a really important fix for anyone who likes to use Contagion. Apparently the biomonitor is already healing you when your health reaches 50% and not 35%. The text for the biomonitor has been adjusted accordingly, but if you lose so much health that you directly go down to around 25%, it is still possible to trigger the reflex tuner and any other effects. So this update is only a text update on the biomonitor, it doesn't affect any of our builds. You are still able to trigger the reflex tuner if you just take enough damage. In the patch notes you might actually see a passage that Xbox users will not be able to upgrade their items to tier 5++. The patch notes are making this issue way bigger than it actually was because it was only a display issue. It was already possible to upgrade every item to tier 5++. An interesting fix has been done for RAM recoup because RAM recoup apparently didn't give you enough RAM back when you used it. I already saw this in one of my latest Netrunner builds and that was the reason why I didn't use it, because it seemed to have almost no effect. So RAM recoup is an item we should definitely check again if we make our next Netrunner build. Axolotl is always a dangerous word if it pops up in patch notes, but this time it actually received a buff, because it also works now if you neutralize an enemy without even killing them. While the use of this may be debatable, but it is definitely great if you want to make a pacifist build. So a completely pacifist stealth build may actually be possible now. What we have all been missing out apparently is a Cogito Lattice glitch, which was existing if you didn't even use a Cyberdeck. So if you used Cogito Lattice without a Cyberdeck, your RAM was always 0 and Cogito Lattice always triggered its effect and gave you its maximum armor. According to the patch notes, this has been fixed and only works when you really wear a Cyberdeck. Which is kind of sad because they fixed it before we could even make a build with it. However, the new countershell trick is much better anyway. And finally, after 3 years, CDPR has also fixed the Psalm and the Buzzsaw. With this update you will finally get the crafting specs even if you have already beaten those locations in Northside. This is actually a bug that existed since version 1.0 for 3 years. And we finally get the crafting specs. However, I suspect they didn't even fix the drop of them, they rather just give us the crafting specs if it didn't work. But a fix is a fix and I certainly won't complain about it. It is also worth to mention that there are a lot of improvements around vehicles. We get proper tire tracks, better jump behavior especially for bigger cars, better motorcycle suspension so they don't get stuck on those sidewalks anymore. All of this can be considered quality of life changes, but I really like to see these things still being added to the game. However, what I would really like to see is finally a real fix for the missing capacity shards, that we can collect infinite capacity to get really to the new max of 500 capacity and maybe even a New Game Plus some point in the future. I hope you really liked this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, leave me a like and see you next time.